Well, sober October is over,
You know what that means?
and we are already high.
No.
No, that's not true. We're high on life
Yes.
and cannabis.
And cannabis.
New month, same us, huh? No, we did plan from the very beginning before we did sober October. We're also gonna throw in some Zen. Before we started sober October, we said when we came back that it was going to be a high cast. Did we say that on the podcast though? Or
That I don't know.
me neither.
But guess what?
The Zen is different this time though. It's like we're going back to a toxic relationship. It's gonna be different though. You
Listen,
don't get it.
I promise I won't get addicted to it. I'm only going to do it when I want to.
That is the goal.
Or, see, I'm careful. Not when I need to, but when I want to.
That's what you're going to do, or that's what you were doing?
That's what I'm going to do.
Okay.
Because if all, Jesus, if all of a sudden I say I
We
need
have
it
to
right
have
now.
that. We have to have that part on camera for
Oh,
sure.
absolutely.
That's funny. That was a bad toss.
If you're listening, go watch the YouTube.
yeah, go watch the YouTube.
Because that
It's
was
better.
amazing.
But
It
we
is better.
do. But if you're listening and you normally listen, we still appreciate you. But
Oh, yeah.
YouTube
Well,
is more
to
fun.
be fair, when I'm listening to podcasts, I usually listen to the audio unless I'm sitting down on my couch.
The main people who I will watch is Crystalia
Yes.
and sometimes Mind Pump, but mostly just Crystalia is really the only
But if you
podcast
watch
I
one,
watch.
if you listen to an audio, will you watch that video? Like different podcasts,
No.
different episodes, but like Mind Pump, for example.
Mm.
I only listen to them on audio, but if I'm going to sit down and watch a podcast, it's either going to be Joe Rogan or Crystalia.
I watch Joe Rogan's too more than I watch. Well, I listen to some too.
Like, are you a listen to one or watch it, or will you listen and watch to the same podcast? Different
most of-
episodes.
I've listened and watched both. Yeah,
Okay.
I'll do both.
Because I typically have
depends
the
on-
watching ones and then the listening ones.
It depends on where I'm at. Like I'll still listen to Crystalia's. They're still good.
I don't think I could do that.
It's
Like,
hilarious.
I need to see him
Yeah.
and like his interactions and like how he thinks about things. Because I feel like half of the reason it's so funny is because you can see the gears just turning and like steam coming out of his ears at times.
Dude, that's so true. It honestly,
He's one of
When
the most
I-
animated people I've ever seen.
yeah. And just his thought process is fucking hilarious. And the more you watch it, like the more you start thinking that way.
That's why I love but hate it.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's literally changed the way I think about things.
I know. It's partially why I am the asshole that I am.
Yeah. And it's not like critical.
No.
It's just like,
It's funny.
yeah, it's a funny twist on how to look at something.
Yeah. It's almost basically always at someone else's, like at the cost of someone else.
Yeah.
Which is still funny though.
It's always fun.
But once I started watching him, I didn't listen to him as much,
Okay.
which
Yeah.
is kind of strange. But I think it's because I realized how much better it is when I watch it.
Yes.
Yeah, he's fucking funny as shit. But I'm also okay with going back to the Zen, mostly because I know I don't even want to do as much as I did before October, right? So
And why is that?
Well, I realized number one that it was more habitual. Like I was just craving it because I was doing it all the time and I liked the flavor and having something in my mouth. And I took one on November 1st. What are you making that
I
face
was
for?
just gonna. You like something in your mouth? I tried so hard to hold back.
Yikes.
And I
shouldn't
couldn't.
have.
I couldn't. I tried. Did you see me trying to fight it?
You were trying. I felt like you were gonna say it. I was just gonna let you say it.
Yeah, I tried so hard.
I'm impressed with the self-restraint that you didn't say anything until I asked you.
I would have sat there looking like that until you asked me so.
That's funny. But yeah, it's more habitual, the Zen. And when I'd crave it, the craving would be pretty intense. But after about 5 or 10 minutes, it would just go away.
But so do you want to stop it then because you don't want to get those cravings?
No, because I was still getting them at the end of the month. I'll always probably
Right.
have a craving here and there for it, but I'm setting some boundaries for myself.
Why? Like, why are you setting the boundaries? Do you not want to get into that habit again?
It's just cheaper. And also,
Okay,
I love
Cost
the
effective.
cost effective. and I like the feeling of actually having a buzz. When was the last time you buzzed off of Zyn?
Oh, it was once I threw like 3 of them in,
Yeah. But like,
but not that kind of buzz though.
no, I'm saying like you probably didn't feel a buzz since over a year.
That's what I'm saying. Unless I
Yeah,
way overdid
okay.
it, but it was a different kind of buzz.
Then you almost feel sick after a while
Yeah.
too, right? Yeah. I've had that too. But I think the reason I also don't want to get back into it is because it feels good. Not like you're buzzing, more like just the energy that it gives
Yes.
you. That's like the biggest thing.
You want to maximize that buzz that you
Yeah.
get from it.
Or like you're in a conversation and like it hits you and you're like, oh shit, like let's go.
Yes.
So like my rules for myself are gonna be, don't take it as a pre-workout, because that's one thing I would do.
Mm-hmm.
If I really need pre-workout one day, then I'll take it, but I probably will adjust my caffeine intake and try to be a little bit lower the next day, like drop a cup of coffee depending on how much I have. Because I try to not have too much. It depends on what time of the day I'm working out. Or sometimes you might just have to like fucking tough through it, figure it out, work out anyway.
Yep. Fuck
Even
it.
if you're tired, sometimes it's like, hey, you still gotta go. But yeah, it feels good. I like the buzz. I mean, I've taken 2 today, 1 Monday, 1 Tuesday, 1 Wednesday, 2 Wednesday.
Okay.
So I have a total of 5. That's normally lasts me till about 10 a.m.
Yeah.
on
It's the
most days.
first 5 hours of your day.
Like I have a 6 o'clock, and then I go, till whatever time. Like I'll have one on the hour.
Mm-hmm.
Now I've had 1 to 2 a day, and hopefully, if I can't keep those boundaries for myself, then I'm gonna cold turkey again. Because sometimes it's like with certain things, that's the only way I know how.
Yes. Both of us.
And it's an addictive fucking substance. So
It 100%.
it'll be interesting to see if we can do that. More so for you, because I didn't have physical withdrawals. If I had
Right.
physical withdrawals, I would not even be fucking around with trying to be in
good
moderation. Yeah, zero chance, because I wouldn't want to have to do that again.
But that's the thing. I know what that withdrawal feels like. So that's how I know I'm not going to get back to what it was,
Mm-hmm.
because I know I would have to quit again at some point. And I say quit. I would have to dial it back or cut it off cold turkey until I could slowly introduce it. But I'm more doing it out of the fear of like, I never want to experience that withdrawal again.
Yeah, I'm really fucking glad that I didn't have any of those. When did they start? How long after?
Day one.
No shit.
It was,
How far into the day?
so because it was a Friday.
Uh-huh.
And I remember I had
Yeah.
a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then we had continuing education at noon.
Yep.
And I remember my first clients felt so slow. When I was sitting during that continuing education, my head, like I wanted to go run into oncoming traffic.
Oh shit.
I understand why people, when they're quitting, why they're so snippy and like short tempered. Because holy shit, if the wrong person said the wrong thing to me, I probably just got up and left.
Your first week in November was rough.
Rough.
For sure. So I remember we talked at about 11 o'clock on Friday, and we were both like, dude, this day's going by so slow. And then I don't think I saw you for the rest of the day
Until
until
our
like,
last client
yeah.
at I think it was 2 o'clock.
Yep.
Because you were with Craig.
Yep.
And we both made a comment. At that point, actually, your day was getting better.
Yeah, it started picking up a little bit. I had some energy. I think I had an energy drink or something that day because I had a softball game later in the day.
Yep.
I really don't care about where my last bit of caffeine is on a Friday or Saturday, to be honest. Because if I lose, an hour of good sleep, then I'll make it up. It's like, I was like, fuck it. It was like 2 o'clock and I was like, I'm going to have an energy drink.
Was one of those Bang energy drinks, I think?
No, it was a Monster.
It was a Monster.
I do the
white
the
Monster?
white or the green is good, like the light green.
The white,
There's
that's
a purple. You had the purple?
that one sounds intense.
Fire. It's kind of, it's grape. So,
Okay.
I don't know. Jake's fake, like artificial grape flavors.
I say no, but I feel like once I actually, like the idea of it, it's worse.
Yeah.
Like when I actually have it, I don't mind it. Like the thought of like a cherry flavored one too. I don't like, Forrest will always get the Mios
Oh, yeah.
and he gets cherry and grape. Actually grape too.
Okay.
and those are always the last ones that I go for.
What's
but
the
when I
first?
use it, I like the orange.
Orange is good.
I like the fruit punch, and then the lemonade.
What's your go-to Gatorade?
Blue.
Blue
Was
is
that
good.
Arctic Rush?
Yeah.
I
Have you
think-
had the white cherry?
Yes.
That one's
I actually
good.
had that two weekends ago, last
Yeah.
weekend.
Dude, the Gatorade Zero tastes really good.
But that's the thing. Like anytime, like I could think of the flavor and think I don't like it,
Yeah.
but when I have it, I'm like, oh, this is actually good.
That's how I feel about lemon lime and fruit punch.
You think that they're gonna be bad?
Yeah, I'm just
and
like, I
then
don't want that.
But then when you have it, do you enjoy it?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's so weird.
it's very good. Yeah.
Why? Like, why is that?
It's like not our favorite. I don't know.
But we still really like it when we drink it.
Well, comparatively, like we really like it, but then you have the purple, and you're like, oh my god.
See, I don't think I have that. I think I enjoy them all equal.
It's probably like when you have candy, and then you have fruit. Like, yeah, I mean, but like if I can eat candy, I'm gonna eat candy. But then you eat fruit, and you're like, oh, this is good too. But if you have the choice, when it comes to taste, you're gonna go for the candy every time.
Right. But I also wouldn't stop eating the fruit just to go to the candy. I'd finish the fruit first and then go to the candy.
Well, here's why it's the same. Because you'll always eat the candy instead of the fruit. But if there's no candy, you're like, yeah, fuck it, I'll eat the fruit. That's how it is with the red and yellow Gatorades. You go there, they don't have any of the good flavors, and you're like, yeah, this'll do, I guess, until you get that one.
Yes. Okay. Yes. But if you're there and there's fruit and candy, I can't even say that because like I don't look at one flavor as better than the other. There's something that happened at a very young age where the blue just like the thought of getting a blue Gatorade just makes me happier than the thought of getting a purple or a red. Like I have no idea what the fuck it is because I enjoy all the flavors equally the same. When they're all there, I don't look at the flavor and be like, I prefer this flavor over that flavor.
So you're telling me you don't like the orange and the blue over the other colors?
I like those better because there's something about looking at those that makes me happier.
I do feel like the color probably affects how you like the perceived taste of it.
Like, or was it, did I have that when I was playing basketball growing up and like fucking, I hit a buzzer beater shot one day? Did I have a fucking blue Gatorade that day?
Subtle brag.
Yeah. It's one of the greatest moments of my life. I was in like fourth grade. I just fucking threw it it was halftime. As the buzzer went off and it went through and I didn't even know how to celebrate.
That's amazing.
Like I felt high
Did it
and I
feel
just
it?
froze.
Did you feel it when you let go of that pass or that shot? Where you
It went
that's in?
slow. No, it went slow motion, and I like blacked out, but didn't black out because I remember the ball, but it just seems like so slow and so far away, and it just fucking
That's amazing.
right through the hoop.
Well, because there's sometimes when you shoot, right when it leaves your hand, you're like, oh, that's in.
Yeah, I get it more with like footballs. Like
Oh,
if I
yeah.
throw a bomb,
Oh yeah,
I know as soon as that leaves my hand
yeah.
if that was a good throw or a bad throw.
We should play catch the football soon.
We should. That was fun when me and Forrest did
It
that.
was a good time. So when you were saying that, I was listening. Don't get me wrong, and I've been thinking about this kind of halfway through that conversation to now. Is like, who the fuck listens to this?
And here I am over here, like we're actually bringing up some good points. We're articulating our thoughts
They are.
well.
Yeah, we know we're talking very well for how high we are because our tolerance is very low. I'm trying to think. We took, I mean, the joint that Jesse and I smoked before was
That
the
would've
size.
killed you.
It was like 2 of my thumbs in thickness.
Can you put a
probably, all
picture
the
up
way
like
around.
maybe right here?
Yeah. We took 2 hits each, Jesse and I did, on Monday night. And I was like, yep, that's for sure all that I need. Have you woken up, have you gotten high each night this week?
Yes.
So it's Thursday now. We're high now, obviously. So make 4 nights in a row for both of us. Which honestly is funny. We both realized that we were not any less productive when we weren't smoking. But we smoked in the evening. Or you had an edible?
I did an edible the first night,
Mm-hmm.
smoked Tuesday night. That was actually, so I smoked less than I normally would have, but more than I should have. Because there's about a 5-minute period, and I've never felt this high before. I've never felt this feeling high before of like, I'm about to freak the fuck out. Like everything felt like it was closing in on me.
Wow.
And then I was like, I'm just fucking high. And it went away just like that.
So you almost just like forgot what it was like to
Yeah.
feel high.
Yeah. And then as we smoked last night, I actually didn't realize how high I was until I was falling asleep. And
Yeah.
that was how many hours later?
A while. We smoked at 6. About
Yeah,
somewhere around there.
somewhere around there.
Yeah, it's just strange. Do you feel like you've woken up with the same amount of energy in the mornings, or not necessarily energy, but do you feel as alert and awake, or do you feel like you're a little bit more like groggy, or it's a little bit harder to
It's-
wake up?
So it's not groggy, because so if I take too many edibles, yes, I almost feel hungover with how groggy I am, but I don't wake up with that like it's just that thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like you can it's just easier to wake up, and when you almost feel like you've been woken up for like a couple minutes versus just woken up.
Yes.
Now, like dude, on Monday I had to do some jumping jacks to like actually wake my ass up.
Yeah. I haven't slapped myself down in the break room in the mornings to like I'll do it to like fuck around, like, Forrest walks in, we're slapping ourselves, whatever. I had to do that down there before work to like wake me up.
Yeah. And we should talk about this actually, because this is something you and I have talked about off air, that there's a lot of fitness influencers that will post all of these meals they eat. Sometimes they don't eat them, sometimes they just order them. And other times you see them, a lot of times it's the same people. They post this huge, outrageous cheat meal, and it's probably the only one they've had for sure in that week. A lot of times they'll only have a meal like that once a month.
Like if you
They
follow
don't
Joey
post-
Swole.
Yeah, I used to follow him.
I mean, I like he puts out good content.
I worked out with him a few times.
Yeah,
He
big
worked out
dude.
at the Gold's Gym Santa Ana. I got my old profile picture was with him.
But he posts the cheat meals
Yep.
a lot, and it's the outrageous ones.
Mm-hmm.
And if you follow him, you follow his stuff, you know that that's not all he eats, but it's those cheat meals are the ones that go viral.
Yeah, because in his stories he'd have like him grilling out chicken breasts and whatever.
Yes.
But like you and I, we know and we understand that 99% of what that guy eats is like typical bro meals, like
Yes.
chicken, broccoli, rice, steak, asparagus,
Salmon.
potatoes, whatever. Yeah. So we understand that, but I think that can give
It sends
The-
a wrong message.
it can, and it a lot of it depends on what you're saying with the post.
Yes.
But we ordered some hot chicken sandwich. No, not hot chicken sandwiches. They're fried chicken sandwiches with a donut bun. I mean,
I almost said something, but I wasn't gonna say it.
that.
Start with a cream and ended in pie.
Yeah, that's kind of true. So we also both got a chicken and waffles as well. We got one of each. But today I have only had broatmeal, so two scoops, two scoops.
Whoops.
Yeah, oops. That was damn, we don't have the soundboard on.
Fuck.
Doesn't matter. So anyway, that said oops, and oops, I said scopes, and I should have said scoops. I had 2 scoops of protein powder and some almond milk and 1 little packet of oatmeal and coffee. 2 cups of
But
coffee.
also the thing is, we planned on having a cheat meal tonight.
We planned on it once we both realized, I go, how much have you eaten today?
Right.
And you're like,
But-
breakfast.
We also decided to make a healthier choice than what we were originally thinking,
That is true.
which was that giant meatball sub that is literally straight carbs and fat
yeah.
with no nutritional value.
That's
Not
so
that this
good.
right, so good, but not as not saying our meal right now is nutritional, but there's definitely more protein
Absolutely.
and way less total calories.
Yeah.
Then-
And we also, and this was Zach's idea, instead of getting like a bunch of fries or sides, like, yeah, we have the waffles and then the donut bun, but we could have gotten also like 2 sandwiches with a shit ton of fries.
Right.
But instead of the fries, we're like, well, if we get the chicken and waffles on the other one instead, we're also getting more protein in. So,
It's a lesser of two evils.
yeah. And so the easy thing too is like we both hit our protein goal yesterday. Did you hit your macros
Mhm.
like on the dot where within your calories? Perfect. was
And
too.
I've actually told myself no more like eating like an asshole, like snacking late at night.
Yeah.
Haven't done that the last 2 or 3 nights either.
Yeah, me neither. And it's hard for me because like Jessie's a hard gainer and she's actively trying to like maintain her size or even gain a little bit. And so she has to eat a lot. And for her to like not be full, she has to eat some like junk foods because
Mhm.
it's the only way she's going to
Type
like
of palatable.
yeah. It makes it easier to eat more. And normally, like, I'll eat, dude, she'll get it for herself and I'll eat more of it than she does.
Yes.
Because once I start, I'm not stopping. So I just started chewing gum. And so I'll tell her, I'll be like, oh, I want one of those. She's like, go chew your gum. I'll be like, fuck, you're right. You're right.
Me and Forrest do that with brush your teeth.
Yep.
It's like, ooh, I want go brush your fucking teeth.
Yep. So it's nice to have something you can do. Because for me, it's just the stimulation. That's what
Yes.
I found.
Yes.
And
And you're looking forward to the next bite. You
yeah.
don't give a shit what's in your mouth.
No.
You're trying to like reach for the next thing. And
Yeah. So that snacking on shit later in the evening is
Mhm.
it's tough. But I feel like honestly, more often than not, I think that snacking generally leads to suboptimal nutritional habits. I think it generally does more harm than good. Whether you're, I shouldn't say whether you're cutting or bulking, but just when you're trying to maintain healthy habits to live a better life, you're just going to be able to transition through cuts and bulks a little bit easier. Because if you've snacked throughout like an entire bulk, man, when maybe you could have just had more meals or bigger meals, it's going to be harder to break that habit when you go into a fat loss phase. And that's something that I'm having to work on now because I didn't do that as well as I could have during this last bulk.
But that's the thing. Like when you snack, why are you snacking? If you're hungry, like, so that's the whole thing where I like to look at snacks or I like to look at meals as complete meals and incomplete meals. And a snack would be considered an incomplete meal with the definition of a meal being proteins, fats, and carbs. Because when you're snacking, you're craving something. If you were hungry and you had the rule of if I'm hungry, I'm gonna make a meal, you would actually not sit down and make a meal, but you would eat a meal or eat the quote unquote right choice. But the snacking, you can justify it because you're like, oh, it's a snack, it's a small amount of calories, and you end up reaching for something that you're craving, not necessarily that you need. And I totally lost my train of thought, but I was keep going. Oh, and then you end up eating more of that snack than you intended to. And now you have more calories, which would have been the amount of calories of a meal. And you could have taken those calories, broken the macros up differently, and at least allowed that to fuel your body, make you feel more full for a long period of time, whatever. But because the snacks are mostly hyperpalatable, you keep going back for more.
So what would you say to someone who, let's say they have breakfast, at a normal time, they have their breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and they normally get hungry kind of in between lunch and dinner? Like, how do you kind of overcome that when you have a client that's going through like a fat loss phase?
One, I'd look at how much water they're drinking. Sometimes we mistake thirst for hunger, but then I'd also look at what they're having for lunch. Maybe if their lunch is super carb heavy, it fills them up a little bit faster, and then they're hungry 2 hours later. So if we could make it more of a protein heavy lunch, or even add more fruits or vegetables to it, that might make them feel more full for a longer period of time, and then they don't get that midday hunger.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Do you do something similar, or do you do something different?
Yeah, a lot of times I'll have them do that. Or maybe another thing I'll do is I'll say, well, turn that into another meal where have your lunch be a little bit smaller because you're going to be hungry in a few hours. And then your fourth meal could be a smaller meal, right? Like you said, a complete meal would be protein, fats, and carbs. So something they could do is have some Greek yogurt and some granola or some fruit in the Greek yogurt, and then maybe also have like some nuts with you, or kind of whatever fat source you prefer, right? But that'd be a way to keep it kind of a smaller meal where you have maybe 2, like 400 or 500 calorie meals. With Greek yogurt, it's that'll probably be closer to 2 or 3. And I think that puts you in a good spot then to keep a streak of healthy habits throughout the day, where it's like you still have 3. Okay, you have 3 meals or 4 meals instead of 3, right? But you're not just kind of mindlessly snacking. And I think a lot of people, like myself included, I have a really hard time, even whether it's like pretzels or chips or anything where I think, I can just have a little bit. I'll measure out a serving. I'll weigh it out. But then after I finish that bowl or that plate, I'm like, I could go back. There's more in the cabinet. But like, if I have some Greek yogurt and fruit and some nuts, those aren't things where I'm like, oh, I want to go back and eat now, like, because they tasted so good. They're good. Like, they're not bad, right? But it's not something that
it triggers something in your brain, right? It triggers something in your brain that turns down that craving level, that hunger level.
Well, one of the things I really like about it too is it keeps the streak alive of making good choices. And then I'm like, okay, now I want to do better for dinner. I've done well all day. Let's keep the streak alive.
But
It's
also,
like one meal at a time, right?
right. But also, like, okay, let's say you are going to go reach for the pretzels. Typically, when you reach for that stuff, it's because you're bored.
Yeah.
So maybe it could just be, oh, what are you doing during the middle part of your day?
Go for a
Oh,
walk.
right. I go home and I go sit on the couch, let my dog out, whatever. Okay, maybe try and fill that hour with, taking your dog for a walk or getting outside or doing something. Because once you get out and you're actually moving, you're not even thinking about the pretzels and the cravings.
Yeah. So we just started. I don't even know why I said started. We didn't just start. We haven't done our picks or posted our picks or kept track of our record for the last 3 weeks.
Week 5 or 6.
Week 5. So we missed 6, 7, and 8. And I just want to point out that we still have not come to an agreement on the bet.
But that's
what
totally
the wager,
fine right now.
What the wager is.
Totally
is it,
fine right now.
Is it going to be? It's so just to clarify, it's not going to be. I don't get to name your firstborn son.
No.
Okay.
Because with that logic, my son's either going to get made fun of for his entire life, or I'm not going to have a fucking son.
Why?
Because you can't name my son if I don't have a son.
But you don't really get to choose.
I don't.
You're
But I'm saying
if
those
that
are the two
happens.
options.
Okay.
Those are the two options.
What if I gave your son a cool ass name,
You wouldn't.
like John Ralphio?
My point proven.
Okay. There. What about the lip tattoo?
Not opposed to it.
Okay.
But it's fine that we haven't decided yet because we're fucking tied.
Yeah. My dad hated that idea.
That's funny.
I
Like,
told
Dad,
him.
you never. When would your dad ever see the inside of your lip unless you show him?
I know. I told him that. I told him, I go, yeah, well, so I think we might do like an inner lip tattoo. And I showed him a picture of like the Bears one. And he goes, why? You know you don't have to get more tattoos. And I go, you know I'm going to, right? And he was like, yeah, but why would you do it on your lip? I was like, well, actually, those ones go away within a
5
few
years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something like that. And also, it's funny.
Right.
We haven't done a tattoo bet yet. I did have the idea for the ass tattoo. But I know you don't want to do that because you like to go on stage in a mankini, and so whatever.
I mean, that was nice you called her mankini. I thought you were going straight thong.
I was gonna say banana hammock. I might do a show though at some point.
Yeah, so careful what you say.
Yeah, well, I would do classic or men's physique.
Yeah, you still get the bikini, though.
No, I get board shorts.
No. Yeah, you're right. You would, but you'd show up there in a Speedo.
I might.
You would, and then you put your board shorts on right before you go on stage.
Yeah,
Get back, take them back off.
probably. I'd have like rip-off ones. So if I did my freestyle,
That's funny.
I'd just throw those off. Like High School Musical.
Yep, right as you're done with the 60 seconds, the music stops.
Yeah. Back to the NFL picks. Our records are both 77 and 45. So we are tied going into week 9 here, which it's funny that we're both 77 and 45 because I watched some guy do his picks on TikTok, which I didn't know people did that until I saw it on Twitter. And I went through and watched a bunch of them. I was like, man, all these people do this. And one guy going into week 8 was like 81 and something. You had 69 wins and I had 70. So that guy had 11 total wins more than me and 12 more than you, which is basically almost a full week of games. So he had a lot better.
But that would
us.
be like 1.5 games a week.
Yeah, that's true. It's not.
So when you look at
much.
it that way,
yeah, it adds up though.
it does add up.
I think it's just hard, dude, to pick these teams, and you must.
But
If you know those, you watch a lot of football.
That's the
You
thing.
watch Red Zone. I watch the Bears games, and I watch Red Zone on top of that, and I keep up like on statistics throughout. You know the games, like during the games. You know, we both like follow some of the social media shit, look at statistics and all that. We watch the smart people say stuff, and then we're like, okay, yeah, that's true.
You're also making it sound like we put way more time in.
We don't.
We don't.
We
Like
don't.
you put a lot of your time and energy
I read about
into the Bears.
Yeah.
And I put a lot of my time and energy reading into the Vikings. And yeah, we have an idea.
I think the main reason we really know the league a little bit is because we play
I was
fantasy.
supposed to say fantasy football.
Yeah, that's the biggest. That actually is why I like playing.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me pay attention to the rest of the league, which makes it a lot easier to be an NFL fan when your team sucks.
Yes. But it
both
also
of our teams.
when it comes to like NFL talk, we're on Mount Stupid.
Yeah.
You know how it's like you know nothing, then you learn a little bit and you think you know everything,
Yeah.
and then you get more into it, and then you think you know nothing until it skyrockets up.
Yeah.
We're on Mount Stupid.
Yeah.
Because, like, yeah, we have enough to talk about where
Well, I think we know that we don't really know shit.
right. But if we were to talk to, like, a sports analyst about this,
Oh my God.
like, if we talked to even Stephen A. Smith,
Yeah.
he would start saying some shit, and we'd be like, yeah, what
Yeah.
he said.
Like, we'll disagree with some of his takes, and then he could probably start explaining it and be like,
He could
Okay, you're
explain
right.
why we disagree more than we can explain why we disagree.
yeah, absolutely. Those guys are smart, man,
Right. But that's their full-time job.
for sure. And even the coaches, think about, like, when I criticize Matt Nagy, and I think he sucks, and I do think he sucks. He's forgotten more about football than I will ever know, and I ever have known.
Mhm.
So, like, I understand that. But also, don't run a fucking jet sweep on 4th and 2. That's
Yeah,
all.
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
Uh-huh.
So
Just fuck you. It's fun. If you make a dumb play call, if you make a dumb decision, you're going to get called out for it.
yeah, and
And you
rightfully
better.
so.
Yeah.
Yep. So, neither of us picked the Jets to fucking win last week.
Yeah. Jesus fuck. What's that guy's name?
Mike White. He's a player you create in fucking Madden. He's like
Yeah.
the base character.
Yeah.
It's just average at everything.
His shit's going in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. His game jersey and the game ball.
What the fuck?
He threw for 405 yards or something like that and completed like 40 passes.
Yeah, it was.
Passed for
It
400
was
plus
the
yards.
most. Didn't he?
Five
Wasn't it like
TDs?
the highest completion percentage? Or no, it was the most completions in a rookie for a rookie quarterback in their first game.
Yeah. I'm pulling up his stats right now. He was 37 for 45. A crazy completion percentage, especially for a rookie. 405 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Coming in on Monday Night Football.
That is absolutely
Wait, was it?
insane.
No, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
Just kidding. They play
They
Thursday
play,
tonight.
yeah, they do play tonight though, prime time. So the Jets are playing the Colts. Who do you have?
I am taking the Jets. I'm gonna ride that fucking train.
No shit. I'm still gonna take the Colts.
Cause that guy's playing.
I just don't know if he repeats. I shouldn't say I don't know. He's not gonna repeat that game.
No, not
He might
repeat
still
that
play.
game.
He might still play well. I mean, hopefully Carson Wentz doesn't prove me wrong, but I mean, I don't really think he's very good, but I think that their team is better.
So and here's
their
the
coach is
thing.
better.
I made that pick based off emotion, not out of logic.
Yeah,
Because logically speaking,
you do that a lot.
I
but
do.
Then, which goes to show that when I'm using logic, it's not that smart.
but here's the thing, and I've talked about, so it's more like my reasoning behind things. Because I've talked about this before, where it's like a rookie quarterback comes in middle of the game, that's their first game, a running back, wide receiver, and they have a fucking breakout game.
Same with backups too, not
Right.
just rookies, right?
That's what
Any
I meant
backup.
backups.
Okay,
Because and rookies, if it's your first
Yeah.
game and they don't have film on you,
that's why I expected Fields to do a lot better in
In
his
his first game.
start. Yeah.
yes, because there's no film, nobody knows how to prepare for you.
Yep.
But now there's a full game of film on him. They saw what was successful. Now they can scheme to make that not successful. And because he's a rookie and he doesn't have experience, they can bait him into think that it's going to look like it did last week, and then they jump and get a pick.
Yeah, I think that's what happened with Matt Nagy. I think the first year in 2018, like I thought he was a genius. I thought
Mhm.
he was amazing. And then I think teams kind of started to figure out his play calling,
Yep.
and he just kind of got exposed.
And if you can't adapt,
Yeah, and I also think he just pretty much like he inherited Andy Reid's offense.
okay.
And so I don't think he really knew how to tweak it to his talent, right?
He doesn't know it well enough to be able to now
Yeah,
advance it to the
Like-
next level.
for sure. He's
Yeah.
just not Andy Reid. And I think when you look at other offensive coordinators, I know I talked about these guys last week, but Brian DeBall from the Bills, Buffalo, and then Kellen Moore from Dallas, they both created those offenses, right?
Mhm.
So they're not running their head coach's offense. And so if we're going to hire a new head coach, like an offensive head coach, I think you don't hire one that's like worked under somebody else and inherited their system. I think you hire someone that created that system. And that requires a lot more like mental brain power, I think. Like even
Mhm.
look at Belichick's coaching tree. It hasn't been that good. You had the fucking Matt Patricia who went to the Lions, sucked. You had Daniels, what's his name?
No,
No,
the defensive coordinator.
whatever.
Or the
yeah,
offensive coordinator.
Offensive coordinator, something Daniels, whatever. He coached the Broncos. He sucked,
Mm-hmm.
and now he's back as an offensive coordinator at the Patriots. It just doesn't always pan out too.
Right.
Right. There's only how many dominant coaches are there in the NFL?
But that's what makes these coaches great.
Yeah. And that's why those teams are still decent, even when their talent's kind of trash. That's why I think the Lions are the best 0-8 team. And I mean, aside from last week, they got killed. And you picked them to win. I just wanted to point that out.
I know. And
But
I was so confident with that pick.
I thought they could have won too. I thought it would have been more competitive, but they're probably the best 0-8 team ever. So I don't know, man. The NFL's weird.
It is. So the Vikings are talking about, I don't know if the Viking organization is, but now there's call for Zimmer to get fired.
A lot of fans on Twitter.
A lot of fans, a lot of analysts. And the speculation is that the Vikings are going to hire an offensive coach because our strength is in our offense. Our strength used to be in the defense.
Yeah.
And that's why Zimmer did so well, because you couldn't fucking move the ball. So we didn't need an all-star quarterback to score a ton of points, score a couple touchdowns a game, 17 points, and you're going to win that game because the defense won't let that up. But now you have Dalvin Cook, always talked about, arguably one of the best running backs in the league, and you have Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen. And, I mean, Irv Smith, whatever, he was going to prove himself as a tight end. But, like, you have these weapons of players that are being talked about as the best in the league, and you can't fucking move the ball. The Vikings have had how many I'm just pulling this out of my ass. I feel like they've had some of the most 3-and-outs in the league so far. And I want you to Google that and see where the Vikings are, because it's pathetic. We come out the first drive of a game when you plan all the plays out, and we march down the field and we score.
Yeah, you have a script.
Yeah, and that works, but then defenses figure out how to scheme against you, and your bait plays aren't working anymore. How can you adapt in the game to score?
I can't find the most 3-and-outs, but I can look at like third down percentage. Minnesota's 24. Chicago's 26.
Yeah.
That was 2021, not this year. I want to see.
This is 2021.
Oh, yeah, it is. Yikes.
Yeah, so the Vikings are 24th?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
At 35%.
That's our third down.
Kansas City's 54. They're the only team over 50%.
Kansas City is?
Yeah.
I guess that's because Mahomes makes mistakes later in drives.
Yeah.
Like, they march.
The top 17 teams are over 40%.
Jesus.
Yikes. So you guys had a really good offense last year too. That's a weird
We have.
thing. Yeah.
Our O-line was
Mhm.
the issue last year. Our defense is the issue this year.
Yeah, that sucks. So we got the Raiders Giants.
Raiders.
I'm gonna take the Raiders as well. Falcons at Saints.
I mean, I feel like that's going to be a good game.
I think the Saints will win.
I think the Saints will win, but I think that's going to be a good game.
I think it'll be a good game for the same reason as to why the Saints beat the Bucs last week. It's a divisional matchup,
Yes.
and you just never know.
Right. If the game was in Atlanta, I would have a much harder time picking the Saints,
Mm-hmm.
but the Saints just haven't been that good this year.
It's weird. They beat good
Like,
teams,
they
though.
beat good teams, but they're not the Saints.
Yeah. Week 1 was a fluke, I think, of a game for the Packers. I'd be interested to see them play again. But I do think
So-
the Saints are okay. But last week they had freaking Trevor Siemian,
Yeah,
their backup quarterback.
right.
Which is
Is their backup, because Jameis Winston, I would consider him as a backup quarterback.
Yeah. Why didn't they play Taysom Hill? Do you know?
He was injured.
okay.
He's back this week. I haven't heard anything, but last week they were
Interesting.
talking about that he was going to be back. I wouldn't be surprised if he started or if they ran a lot of
Wildcat
packages
run,
with him
yeah.
in there.
That'll be interesting to see what the personnel looks like in that game.
You want to hear?
So you still have the Saints, though?
I have the Saints. You want to
Okay.
hear how fucked up my mentality is with the Packers?
Hmm.
So you were saying how if they played the Packers game, you'd be curious to see how that game went.
Mm-hmm.
The way I look at how the Packers have won has been bullshit every time. So I'm going to look at the Cardinals. And I don't know outside of the Vikings and the Packers game how the Cardinals have really played because I haven't watched any games. But the Vikings should have beat the Cardinals. That game was ours to lose. Like if you don't shoot yourself in the foot in the fourth quarter, you win that game. So I look at that as, okay, I could have seen the Vikings winning that game. I could have also seen the Packers losing to the Cardinals, which they should have, but they ended up winning. So I look at the Packers and I'm like, I don't see them as a very good football team because their wins don't feel like wins. They feel like the other team ends up fucking up. But you could argue the good teams find a way to get it done, regardless how the finish is. That's just a win. But I don't look at the Packers' wins as pretty wins.
Yeah.
Do you
get
agree
it.
with me? Or am I just,
Yeah.
am I like so, do I hate the Packers so much that that's how I see it?
Well, I think that's definitely part of it, but I get what you're saying because we thought the same thing about them in their 13-3 season.
Yes.
And we were like, well, they're statistically the worst 13-3 team in NFL history. And you look at the Bears when they were 5-0. They got lucky when they won like 3 of their games. And they could have easily been a 4-win team last year. But you look at like those first 5 games, like, well, they're also 5-0. Maybe the good teams just do that. But then they proved otherwise, right? Because then they started losing a ton. But I don't know. I always go back and forth because
Like I'm not going to say the Packers are going to lose the rest of their season.
No, I know what you mean. But they're not pretty wins, like convincing wins.
Yes.
Right?
I don't look at the Packers and like they're like
You don't think they're a contender.
right. The
essentially.
Browns scare me. The Bengals scare me.
The Browns are like fucking 3-5 right now.
I know, but they're
They're
like
still a scary team.
yes, they're a scary
matchup-wise.
team. Right. So yes, that's I think that might be more what it is. Like the
Mhm.
matchups. I don't know.
I think the Packers have good matchups, unfortunately. But I do think they're a beatable team. I think to me, I think they're the most, like, it's weird because Rodgers is such a freaking stud that you
Right.
just never know. But they feel more beatable to me, like for the Bears. Like I think we have a better chance beating the Packers than we do the Buccaneers.
yes.
Like,
Yes.
is that more what you're saying?
Yes. And like
Because
the
same with
Chiefs.
the Browns. I'd feel better about us playing the Packers than the Browns again.
Same thing with the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Like I know the Chiefs record and yes, Patrick Mahomes has the most interceptions in the league this year,
Yeah.
tied with Zach Wilson, I think.
Mhm.
They've made mistakes and they've fucked up, but it's like every single week, it's like, but we know what they're capable of.
Yeah.
Like, I'd rather play the Packers, yes, than the Saints, or not the Saints, maybe even the Saints, than the.
Hello?
Did
Yeah, you
that
could
just
send it up.
beep?
Thanks. This is my phone.
Oh, it was the phone that beeped.
Yeah, because
No.
I answered a call.
I see. Oh, because the
It
food's
didn't.
here.
Yeah, I didn't put it on speaker, so you actually couldn't really hear it. So that was my fault.
That's funny.
But our food's here, so we should hurry up with these picks.
Yes.
But I do agree with you 100%.
Okay. Yeah, we don't need to dive in. Let's just rapid fire these.
Bills at Jaguars.
Bills.
Bills. I don't know. I'm fine. That's why I had to think about that. Browns at Bengals.
This would be a good game. I'm choosing the Bengals.
I'm gonna take the Bengals too. I like them. Patriots at Panthers.
I'm going to take the Patriots.
At Carolina. I'm gonna take the Patriots too. They came off a good win last week.
Mhm.
Broncos at Cowboys.
I want to say the Broncos because I now hate the Cowboys, but I'm going to take the Cowboys.
I'm gonna take the Cowboys as well.
Oh, because Dak's playing too.
Yeah. Vikings at Baltimore.
Vikings.
I'm gonna take Baltimore, but I don't think that the Vikings will get like blown out. I think it'll be a good game, maybe.
We'll see what the offense
I
can
mean,
do.
the Vikings. You guys don't really get blown out very often.
No,
Yeah,
and that's the
like,
problem.
you guys compete.
Every game has been so close.
But I'd rather that than like what happens when the Bears lose. Guy just knocked. Don't know if you guys heard that. But anyway, I'm gonna take the Ravens. Then we got Texans at Dolphins. Yikes.
Jesus. I'm going to take the Dolphins.
How many different picks do we have right now? It's gonna dictate what I do.
One.
Just one.
I think so. Yeah,
You
just
took,
one.
Who did you take?
I took the Jets, the Raiders, the Saints, the Bills, the Bengals, the Patriots,
Yeah,
Cowboys, and Vikings.
We all. That's our first different pick.
Yeah.
Fuck it. I'll take the Texans.
Fuck yeah.
Chargers, Eagles.
Chargers.
Packers, Chiefs.
Chiefs. Fuck you, Packers.
I'm taking the Packers. Cardinals, 49ers.
Cardinals.
I'm going to take the Cardinals. I do think it's
You wanted to just to be different.
Well, no, it's an NFC West matchup. It's at San Francisco. They're just coming off a good win against the Bears.
The Cardinals are just coming off a loss.
I know.
That could go both ways.
still-
That could tank their not tank their season, but they could be upset.
Yeah.
Jeez, I'm gonna fucking cough again.
Yeah, stop that. I'm going to take the Cardinals still. But fuck, I hope I don't regret that, but fuck it. Cardinals. Titans at Rams.
I know Derrick Henry's out, but they just signed Peterson. I'm going to say Titans.
Wow. I'm going to take the Rams. And Bears, Steelers.
You're gonna hate me, but the Steelers.
I'm not going to hate you because that's the smart pick. But I'm not a smart man. And what are the odds?
What do not smart men do?
They make decisions based off their emotions. And who's favored here? We're gonna look at the spread.
Do you get to look at the spread? Are you gonna take this game with the spread? He's gonna pull out a money line and
It's funny. Wow, the Steelers are favored by 6.5.
Wow.
You know, the over under is 39.5. Interesting. Yeah, that's probably about right. Bears don't fucking score that much. I don't know why, man. I'm fucking emotional, and I think the Steelers are a winnable game. I'm taking the Bears, and that's fucking stupid, but gotta go with my heart sometimes.
Yep.
So,
I do that far too often.
Yeah.
Hey, but we're still here.
Yep. All right. Well, that is gonna do it for us. We're fucking out. Thank you for watching this episode of 5-Year Plan. If you like what we're doing here on the show, be sure to like and subscribe.
If you want one of your questions answered on a future podcast, you can write into our website at www.5yearplanmedia.com, or you can write into our Instagram page at 5yearplanmedia. You can find me on Instagram at @Z_Condon.
And you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at ConnorYoungman_.
Peace.
See ya.